What up? What up? We back. Episode 1, season 2, NFL Matchup Madness. We starting out with a banger here, y'all. We got the Detroit Lions, Detroit Mail, and this guy over here. Y'all remember him from last year, Wild Card Mar. That's in the background, but we gonna, we gotta talk every team, so them included.
Yeah, even him.
Even them, you know what I'm saying?
You ain't gotta be
But
like that.
I will say before we started, I need you to call your quarterback Pat and tell him that I need him to have a very great statistical year because they took Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow and all the guys that throw for a lot more yards to him from me in fantasy. So I got stuck with Mahomes.
You acting like
I
that's
need
a
the top
bad thing,
tier.
bro.
I'm talking about fantasy. I'm not talking about wins and losses. I'm talking about fantasy.
Bro, you talking about the reigning MVP? He threw a 5K.
I need him to throw 55. I need about 20 touchdowns. And I also would be helpful if he can get those interceptions down a little bit because those are negative points. So if he can do those things for me, then I will forgive him for getting shot up with illegal substances and coming out and playing like he did in the second half.
Allegedly.
Ain't no legend to that. Look, ain't no legend to that. We see him at the end of the first half like a three-legged goat, and he came out in the second half like a panther, a jaguar, a cheetah. We know what happened. You know what I'm saying? We know. The NFL don't care because the Golden Boy can do whatever.
Gotta be half panther.
Yeah, and that would be fine. But we all know what really happened. Word of mouth can keep the truth alive.
Right. There you go.
And with that being said, guys, we're gonna hop into this matchup here. So we got two guys that know each other very well. So Mel,
what up, though?
We're gonna start with you, man. What can the Detroit Lions do to hold off the reigning and defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs?
Kidnap Pat Mahomes. I think he don't like pressure up the middle, so I think they can get pressure up the middle and then contain on the outside. They'll be all right. Then now it look like Kelsey might not play, so that's another help. I think with the addition of having Brian Branch out there, who can put a hat on somebody and can cover. I think if they keep that up and keep that pressure on them and force Mahomes into making mistakes, because one thing about Mahomes, as good as he is, he does make a lot of mistakes through the games. So if you can put that pressure up the middle and keep him contained on the outside and force him to make mistakes and then take advantage of the mistakes, I think they can win this game.
Okay. Now, wild card, Mar. What can your Kansas City Chiefs do to get this dub?
Hey man, I honestly is just be themselves. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to get out of pocket and be something that they ain't. Obviously, like Mel said, there's probably a good chance that Travis won't play. And honestly, I'm not freaking out about it. Only reason why I say that is because it's a marathon. It ain't a sprint. This is the first game. It's cool. I mean, we got 10 days rest after this Thursday night game. So I'd rather have you miss one game and be available for 16 than trying to play the first game of the season. And then I got trouble with you trying to play the other 16 for the rest of the season. So, I mean, that's just try to, obviously in the offense, don't try to get outside yourselves and be something that you ain't. Just stick to what you do, even if you got to have 11, 12 play drive. It's all good. The Chiefs are no longer that home run hitting offense like they were with Tyreek, and that's okay. But if you take 11, 12 plays and get it in the end zone, it's just as lethal as it is if they had Tyreek. Now on the defensive side, I mean, hey, you know what's up. Chris Jones I don't know when he's coming. All right. We don't know. Fact of the matter is, this is the time that you got guys on the defensive side. It's for y'all to take this shit personal and like, hey, man, he ain't here. The media already saying we ain't going to be nothing. Take it personal, step up. And, hey, man, that's part of the game. It's next man up. So
right.
You got to have somebody on the defensive side say, hey, man, CJ95 ain't here. It's cool. I'm gonna be that dude. I'm gonna be that dog that's gonna, step up and show up and show out. This is your opportunity. I mean, take the reps. This is what you got to do.
Right. So we paying you.
Now, Mar, I want to say I do not like your 12 play drives nonsense. I need quick score plays from Pat Mahomes.
But
That's
that
why I
ain't
wanted. I
yeah.
know, but that's why I wanted Justin Herbert, right? That's why I wanted the other guys because those are guys that make those big plays that get you the bonuses. Mahomes, you see this? Look in my eyes. Look, big plays. You figure it out. Big plays. I'm watching you.
Hey, but I will say this though, cool. The fact that Travis won't play, and I got a good feeling he probably won't, it does actually open up your playbook a little bit more because then it makes you more mysterious. Who's going to be the guy? And you got we're going into the league, we're going into the season with 7 wide receivers, the first time in Andy Reid's history, at least with Kansas City, with 7 guys on the active roster at wide receiver.
That's his first time ever. So that dude, man.
Yeah.
I'm not digressing. Mel.
Yo.
I'm not gonna digress. We're not gonna talk about that man. Mel.
Yo.
What is the X factor for the Chiefs to win this game against y'all?
Pat Mahomes, man. He's the X factor. I think how he plays is gonna dictate how this game goes. If he has a horrible game, it's over with for him. If he has a great game, it's gonna be a long night for the Lions. I think the tell of the tape is Spagnuolo against Johnson. How Johnson calls plays and can Spagnuolo defend against it because Ben Johnson calls a lot of trick plays, a lot of different plays, and sometimes he calls plays back to back to sub another play. So can Spagnuolo identify that and guard against it, and then speed? So.
Mara, same question. What's the X factor for the Lions to beat y'all?
Man, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's turnovers. If you're able to get, you gotta force Pat into some turnovers. That's the only way you're gonna win this game. Because honestly, I quite see this joint as a shootout. I think both defenses are gonna struggle. Because looking at the situation, I think the Chiefs got probably one of the better O lines in NFL. I think the Lions actually do too. I mean, that's. To me, they're going to neutralize both defensive fronts from both ends, honestly. So it's turnovers. That's what Chiefs can't get outside themselves and start doing too much and start causing turnovers and self-inflicted wounds. Because when you got that much of a question mark on our defensive side because Chris Jones ain't there, that's why you can't have those turnovers. I mean, geez, it's a lot of mystery on that defensive side. So that's why you don't want to see that extra pressure too much on the offensive side to try to make up for what you're missing on that defensive side. So yeah, turnovers. Keep them turnovers down, Pat. Come on, man. Running back. Come on.
All right, and Mark, we're gonna go first with you on this one. So last thoughts on your matchup and who you think is going to be the player of the game for your team.
Player of the game for my team, I'm gonna go Jet McKinnon. Reason why I say that, the man threw in 10 receiving touchdowns last year as a running back, and he was getting more touchdowns as a receiver from a running back position than most wide receivers in the league. So I'm looking for him to have a big game in the passing game for sure, probably with the absence of Travis. And I think it's going to be a shootout, a close game. I'm thinking 6 points difference, but it's still going to go the Chiefs' way because the fact of the matter is, Lions, you still got to prove that you are at that peak of being competitive. I mean, we see the growth, we see it. And instead of saying, "Hey, we almost there," we got to see if y'all arrived yet. Because I mean, Mel could speak on it. I can't remember the last time y'all won a damn playoff game. I don't even been to the playoffs. So, I mean, Stafford got there once, and got cheated by the refs in Dallas, but that's neither here nor there. But look, it's going to be a close game. Much respect to the Lions, but at the end of the day, y'all got to show the Lions. They got to show that they can hang with the upper echelon teams in the NFL. So, going to be a close game, though. 6 points. I think it's gonna be the difference. We gonna still hang that L on them while we hang up the Super Bowl banner too with Arrowhead. So
Hey man, look,
Mel,
we're gonna treat Arrowhead like a battered wife. We're gonna burn that bitch down.
whoa.
Burn it.
Burn that bitch down. But I think, man, I'm kind of like
that match tonight. What the hell is going on?
I kind of feel like the same thing with Lamar, but on our side with Gibbs. I think, you know, Gibbs runs routes like a receiver. I think that he's gonna be an X factor, the speed that he has, his ability to catch out the backfield. You can line him up and have Mo in the backfield, and you spread him out in the slot position. That'll run routes and vice versa. So I think that he's gonna be. I think the other factor to it would be James Houston, because I think that it can be a lot of concentration on Hutch, and if they double team Hutch and you put James Houston in, especially on third down, you see what he did last year against Buffalo, against the Jets. I mean, he was wreaking havoc. He's a pass rushing specialist, so I think that's gonna be the two keys right there. Houston on defense and Gibbs on offense. And I think it's gonna be just like Lamar said, it's gonna be like a 6-7 point difference, but I'm gonna have to take the edge to Detroit.
Hey man, y'all pull off that win. I won't even be mad at Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for being a whine and crybaby no more. I let it go.
You bring up
it's the field.
Hey man, ain't nobody trying to hear that shit, man. Hey, but you do bring up a good point, man. Jahmyr Gibbs is probably the one that I got circled as in. I think that's the guy we got to stop for sure. I mean, because we know about St. Brown. I'm around St. Brown. We know who he is. Thank God that Jameson loves gambling and he can't play because that's too much speed. I don't even know what to deal with that one. So man, Gibbs, man, whew. Hey man, wild take. I'm just gonna call it right now. It's gonna be between him and B. John Robinson for offensive player or rookie of the year. I mean, both of those cats run routes like Neil said, like legit wide receivers, and they are dual threats. They are part of that new breed of Christian McCaffrey style running back that want to be resetting the top of the running back market for sure. I think
we have Wildcard Mar putting out a prediction. So we can clip this, we can cut this.
Yeah.
We can see how it plays out.
Yeah.
But fellas, I am sick of looking at that Chiefs trash. So we're gonna get y'all up out of here this week. Make sure y'all hop on to the
okay.
See, you know what you did right now, sir? You know what you did right now, right?
First of all, y'all didn't came up here and tried to tag team me in handicap match like y'all the Dudley boys in this jersey. So I might as well get mine off while I can.
You know what, man? You done talking. No more talking from him. So, gentlemen, good luck in your matchup this week. Mar is in timeout. And next week we'll be back with both of these gentlemen in their matchups. Good luck to you both, but really more good luck to you, Mel. And make sure y'all hop over to YouTube to the Matchup Madness and just put your info so that everybody know where they can find you guys. I know you do a lot of your stuff together, but hey, you might do something separate. You never know what y'all got popping.
Appreciate you, man.
But we don't want no more stuff talking about no Chiefs. Bye. All right, Mel.
All right, bro.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, on to the second matchup. We have one of those people, but he is the man, the myth, and the legend himself, Kyle Nash. Kyle, what is going on?
Honor, joy, and privilege, cool. I'll tell you. I don't mean to sound like I'm a Chiefs fan because I'm not, but the blatant disrespect for Creed Humphrey. Oh, good. Patrick Mahomes II was on that junk and he ran that ball. Man, listen, Creed Humphrey is an awesome center, and you need to respect that, man. Because, first of all, not just because he wears Crocs to press availabilities, okay? But come on, man. Why you got to hate on the beef like that, cool? Why is that a thing? Come on.
Why I got to hate on him? Because Eddie Reed's the coach and they cheated us.
Well,
they didn't cheat us. They paid the referees to cheat us. That's why.
You could always just not get beat on the edge. That's an option. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, I mean, You could also always, kind of look at things and say, well, if y'all grabbing us the whole game and we grabbing y'all the whole game, then we grab y'all one time in the most pivotal situation in the game, and instead of playing like you did the rest of the game, you decide now you're going to pull out your red and gold stripes and look out for them.
Hey, listen,
It's
real
all
time,
good.
that run you talk about for Patrick Mahomes II was the only thing stopping me from casting a vote for a losing player in the form of Jalen Hurts for that Super Bowl game. What a performance! But never
good
about
game,
that. I know you're trying to. I got you off track. I'm sorry, cool. That's my fault.
Yes.
How rude of me. Listen. I mean, Mar didn't light up his black and mild. He's trying to do it right, and then I come out and end up being the bad example. I'm so sorry. That's my bad.
It's all good. So we get a couple of comments here. Anthony Price, what's up, Anthony? He says, last time a running back won the award. Hey, Mar is saying it's going to happen, man. This is all wild card Mar. This is not me and Kyle. This is not us. This is Mar. Don't be like that cool 0 sacks. Well, I mean, I'll say this one last thing. There's an interesting trend when the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl and NFC teams that have really good defensive lines not getting sacks. And there's a great way to stop any player on any level from getting a sack. You know what that is, Kyle?
I'm afraid you're going to tell me.
Hold them and just make sure you wink at the referee first and let them know not to call it. People can say, oh, he's being a sour Eagles fan, but go back and look when they played the 49ers. Same thing happened. This is not a one-time thing. When you play the Chiefs, and I said this on this show and others, when you play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, you better beat them bad, because if you leave the game close, their third set of players, the referees, are going to hop in. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, the Niners, the refs didn't kill the Niners except for one maybe minute play at the end of the half. Okay, you know what beat the Niners?
Very good point here. Unless they're playing the Tampa Bay Bucks.
What? And then they were missing half their line. See, the disrespect for the beef is real. What are we doing? Come on, let me show you my credentials again. Cool. Why are you doing that to the beef?
We're pointing out truth, right? That people that love this team don't appreciate, and that's okay. But you have to acknowledge the truth. Facts are facts, whether they work for you or against you.
We're going to talk about beef, man. The Eagles got plenty of it too. Let's not act like Jason Kelce isn't a future Hall of Famer, guys. All right, like, can we get that out of the way too? I'm not advocating.
Talk about a lot of beef tomorrow night.
I hear that. See what you did there. Well done.
But so Kyle,
sir,
got a nice little matchup rolling in this week. We got you guys going against the Colts.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be the first to say it. I know we're a matchup show. We're talking about both teams. All that. It's all cool. It's all good. The Colts stink. The Colts are going to stink. So instead of me sitting here and asking you all, what can they do to win? All that they can do to win is find a way to get your whole offense sick before the game. Okay, because they just don't have it. So what I'd rather talk about here is spend a few minutes. Tell me what the Jaguars are going to try to show their fans and the rest of the NFL with this opening game. How can we say this opening game bunny that's just floated to them?
Well, first of all, as far as fans of Duval are concerned, how about getting a win against the Colts there in Lucas Oil, right? Their record there, I believe, is 0 for the past 9. I could be wrong about that, but it's something ridiculous like that. Ironically, too, the Colts are 0 for 8 in Duval themselves. So, home field advantage is a big one here, but for all the reasons you mentioned, the table is set for the Jags to get that first win there at Lucas Oil for the first time in a long time. And listen, I got to tell you, there's a lot of things going their way over and above self-inflicted wounds from Jim Irsay and the Jonathan Taylor thing and all of that, over and above, having a rookie starter. But I will say this in the Colts defense, cool. Thank goodness they finally have a rookie and somebody who isn't drinking Ensure to keep their weight up because the quarterback in question's that damn old. I like that part at least. I know people are going to say it's a down year for the Colts, but it's a good move in the right direction long term.
That's fair. The only problem is he can't read defenses.
Well, I mean,
and he can't complete a lot of passes either. But if we're
and
willing to overlook those things, he's a really good prospect.
Hey, listen, the Gators had someone who could pass, and they lost to Utah worse. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there, But but that's college football. We're not doing that right now. But yeah. No, listen, in this day and age, cool, athletic quarterbacks are coming more and more essential, and they're actually kind of buying extra time for a quarterback to learn what, and in that process, letting them rely on their physical tools. And then as, the quarterback evolves, the quarterback in question evolves, they become more of a cerebral player. As their athletic talents go, then, the rest of it starts to increase. You'll remember Aaron Charles Rodgers would regularly lead his team in rushing for the Packers before he started to age and become purely a passer more overall too. And I think that's kind of the direction you're going to see more and more quarterbacks go, because quarterbacks are forced to play soon, man. You get this.
So here's the thing. I agree with everything you said, but I want to say about this specific individual, he couldn't read defenses in college.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to take a guy that couldn't read defensive college, make him an overall top 5 pick, and we're going to expect him to somehow learn how to read NFL defenses when he couldn't read college defenses. If they're able to do that in Indianapolis, all I can say is everybody in the league is going to pilfer everybody on that offense in the next couple of years, because that means you guys are gods on training people, because this kid cannot read defenses. And I'm sorry, I understand that that's something that you can start to develop a little bit, but you have to have some of it in college, right? All the quarterbacks we talk about, they at least show some of that. A guy that didn't show us a lot of that, Trey Lance, look what's happened to him.
No, and listen, well, Trey Lance is a bad example. He hadn't had enough tape. I mean, listen, I could go on and on people making way too much of the Trey Lance situation, and even talking about stuff like Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch should be fired because of it. That's all dumb. But you do make a point about that's a big ask, and I agree with that. But I would also remind you of one, Cam Newton, who, while he didn't win the Super Bowl, became very solid franchise quarterback to help the Panthers be quite a force in the NFL for some time, as a guy who was alleged to not be able to read offenses.
He was alleged, but he actually did to some degree. This kid, all the tools athletically, but he's got to learn how to read. That's the thing. And so here's what's going to happen. So I'm going to throw up Lamar's comment here. He says, Colts aren't Cardinals bad. Cool. You're right. The Colts may be worse.
That's a fine point, man. Listen, I wish I had my chocolate peanut butter stout. I'd tip you a drink there, Mar. Well played, sir. Well played.
1-2. That's what they are. It's good. Let's decide who accidentally slips up and wins a game. 1-2. That's what we're looking at.
I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. I'm not.
I just had to put that out there.
But
Kyle,
sir,
I know that we were going to get on here and really talk about the team. I knew we weren't going to need to that much either, because, hey, we know who's going to win this game. This is a fun little reintroduction. It's always great to have you on.
Absolutely. You did great work on the student of the game with your Eagles preview, by the way, sir.
Well, I try to do what I can. Any final thoughts that you have on your matchup with the Colts?
Listen, this is going to be an opportunity for the Jags defense to kind of tune up and see what they really have at the end of the day. 𝐬𝐞𝐤𝐭 led the league in tackles last year at the linebacker position. And if you're a Jags fan, you're looking for Josh Allen to do his thing while Trayvon Walker does his thing. Offensively, the Calvin Ridley show begins, and I'm really wanting to see what we're doing here. Cool. This could be a franchise year for passing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've not had a quarterback this good for some time in one Trevor Lawrence, and they haven't had a receiver core this good since Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardle, and that group. That's going back a ways, bro. We're talking like 90s, early 2000s stuff, okay? So, sit back and have fun, enjoy this one. I hope to at least cross paths in some fashion with Mar for week 2 for Jacksonville's home opener.
Absolutely, man. So, Kyle, of course, I'll make the same request that I always make. Just make sure you hop on over to the YouTube page, put all your information where everyone can find you.
Hey, an honor, joy, and privilege is always cool, but until next time, class dismissed.
Yep. 2 comments for you real quick from Jory, who is a Titans fan. What's good here, the whole Jags talk. And she also says, Jacksonville this, Jacksonville that. But Jory, in Kyle's defense, we are talking about the Jags matchup, and they are playing the Colts. So does anyone really want to hear about the Colts? The answer to that question, of course, is no.
Apparently not. Yeah, I had, we did talk some about the Colts and how they were doing something in the right direction with the young quarterback. I'm just saying.
But fair enough, man. We will see you next week and appreciate you hopping on.
All right, man. Catch you on the next one.
Absolutely. All right. And guys, we are hopping on to the next matchup here. And we've got one of our reps here for the Houston, Texas, Coach Dante the Sports Library. Coach, what's up?
Hey, what's good, man? What's good? What's good? How you doing?
I cannot complain, so I am good.
I'm
Minshew
good.
Mania taking over in Indianapolis. That would be interesting, but I'm for anything. Jory says, I hope they both tie. Jory is, of course, a Titans fan, so I can understand her perspective on that. So, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Since you are solo on this one in your matchup, from both perspectives, who do you think would be? What do you think is going to be the X factor? Player, coach, side of the ball, whatever. What do you think is going to be X factor for both of these teams in this matchup?
Well, I think for me, as the Texans, I think the X factor is the offensive line. I think Titus Howard, he will be good to go on Sunday, but it's still an X factor because we're missing our starting center and rookie Juice Scruggs, who had a hell of a camp and a hell of a preseason. And also, the receiver position, not quite sold on the receiver position. Robert Woods is a veteran guy. If Nico Collins can stay healthy, he does have a lot of upside being that big body wide receiver. I still think we need to get one. Love Tank Dell, love him. He's going to play a lot more. Noah Brown is more of a blocking wide receiver, but he did have a great year with Dallas last year, had 500 yards. So that shows some stability that he can catch the football. And this defense, how this defense is going to look. Can they make Lamar Jackson set up and throw in the pocket? We know they're going to run the football a lot with Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. If we can stop the run, I think we got a very good chance of coming out and keeping the game close. And matter of fact, and just winning the ball game. But other than that, as for the Ravens, run the football. Just come out and run the football and see can we stop the run. Maybe it opens up for Lamar Jackson play action, the screen game, and it opens up for him. But other than that, Lamar Jackson is he's going to be a part of the run game and the offensive coordinator. As well, Todd Monken coming over from Georgia, and also they got to beat up secondary. So if I'm Houston, we also got a 1-2 punch that can run the ball. Devin Singletary, to me, been an 800-yard running back for the Buffalo Bills. We got Damian Pierce, who's one of the hardest guys to tackle, So we got to attack that secondary. They're beat up in the secondary, so we got to attack it as much as possible. So other than that, man, like I said, man, hey, I like our opportunity, like our chances. I think the game is going to be closer to when many people think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be actually a runaway. But other than that, like I said, I see her and say it over and over again. Like the disrespect of the Houston Texans, man. Like, know everybody got us saying that we are dumpster fire. We don't like black coaches. Well, we don't like black coaches. We wouldn't hire one right here. We got one right here. It's clearly that David Culley and Lovie Smith, they both were stopgaps. They were no head coaches, nowhere near head coaches of the future for this team. And without those guys, we don't get, D'Amico Ryans, by the way, who's the hottest free agent coach who everybody wanted on the market. So again, love the disrespect. I want everybody to keep the disrespect. And we coming soon. We'll get together soon. We coming.
Okay. I like that. Now, Coach, I believe I know who you think is going to win, right? But Answer me this question. What does each team need to do in order to win this game?
Well, each team need to do, I believe, if our offensive line, to me, is going to be the key of the game. Can we keep C.J. Stroud up? If we can keep C.J. Stroud up and give him some time in the pocket, we all know, as you said, as I said, we know C.J. Stroud can rip it in the pocket. We all know he will find an open receiver and he will pick the defense apart if he gets the time. That's going to be the key for me. It's the offensive line. Can we get a pass rush on Lamar Jackson? Can we get a pass rush and stop the run? I think that's the key for us. I believe in our secondary. Our secondary was top 10 last year in the league. But people didn't have to throw the ball because they will always run up on us. They can always run the football up on us. That's why we got beat a lot last year, because we couldn't stop the run. And the secondary was so very good. Teams didn't have to really throw on them. So I believe the offensive line and the defensive line, we got to better stop the run. If we can do that, I feel real good about our opportunities. And when CJ Stroud is surveying down the field, he's mobile enough to move up out of the pocket, and he's gonna eventually find someone wide open with his accurate passing. So, but other than that, I think the offensive line, defensive line gotta set the tone. I have faith in the secondary can pretty much hold their own against anybody, pretty much anybody. I got faith in the secondary. And for the Baltimore Ravens, you got to run the football. Start with the run. Start with the run game. And can the secondary hold up? I think that's the key for both teams.
Okay. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. So, Coach, appreciate you having you on this week.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to your team. Hopefully next week, both parties will be on, so y'all kind of had that little back and forth going. But we know you the library, so it don't even matter.
Yeah.
But make sure you hop over on the YouTube page and just let everybody know where they can find you.
Hey, man, like I say, man, y'all know y'all can find me at Coach Dante on YouTube. Y'all can find me on the Sportsway Network with Cool and everybody else. And y'all can just find me everywhere, man. No introduction for me. Y'all find me everywhere. And I ain't hard to find.
Make sure you go over to the page and put it in writing too, so just in case they see it that way.
Gotcha.
Appreciate you, Coach Dante.
Appreciate you, Cool.
We'll see you next week. All right, and next we're gonna hop over to our next game, and we're gonna bring on Mr. Stephen Box, who is going to be discussing the San Francisco 49ers as they face stuff froze up on me. Who y'all playing this week, Steve?
Pittsburgh Steelers, sir.
The Steelers, yes, sir. Now it popped back up, of course. So I'll ask you the same question I've been asking everybody else, but I ask you in a little bit of a different order.
Okay.
Who is the X Factor player for both teams, or the X Factor coach, or the X Factor position group, whatever?
So I think in terms of the 49ers, we're going to have to kind of play this one two ways, right? Going to make an assumption that maybe Nick Bosa's holdout continues and keeps him out of this game. And if that's the case, then I think that Clelin Ferrell has an opportunity to be the X factor in this game, because he's going to probably get that starting job. And, he's the guy who played really well in the preseason. You're going to need somebody to put that pressure on Kenny Pickett, and he's going to be the guy that they're going to ask to do that. So that's who I think could really be the X factor for us, especially if Nick Bosa doesn't end up playing. And then if you, on the other side of it, say have George Kittle end up not playing, but say Bosa does, then I'm going to actually say Jawan Jennings is going to be the guy that's going to have to step up and kind of give you some of that production that you're not getting from George Kittle. If I look over at Pittsburgh, I'm going to go with the quarterback. I'm going to say Kenny Pickett, because until someone proves that they can, I'm going to assume that you're not going to run the football against us well. And the only way that you're going to be successful against San Francisco is if you can try to run the football a little bit. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is your quarterback is going to have to make that defense loosen up a little bit. So it's going to be about Kenny Pickett be able to make the right plays, get the balls into the hands of his playmakers, and get that defense to back off a little bit in order to open up for that running game.
I dig that. So next question, of course. What can, excuse me, what will the 49ers need to do, and obviously you have to answer this for their team as well, in order to ensure that they do win this game?
So I think both teams, it's going to really come down to the ability to run the football, right? Both of these defenses are very good against the run, but both of these defenses are also very good at creating turnovers if you become one-dimensional. So you can't afford to just sit back and be a one-dimensional team against either one of these defenses. So you're going to have to get out there. You're going to have to successfully run the football. I think it's maybe more imperative for Pittsburgh for the simple fact that you have a younger quarterback back there. well, I mean, he's not really younger, but just in terms of the way that they played last year. I know that Kenny Pickett looked really good in preseason, but it's preseason. I'm not going to put a lot of stock in that, right? Whereas Brock Purdy's already shown that he can execute at a high level, even in the playoffs. So to me, they especially have to be able to do it to give them any level of success. But San Francisco at the same time, I mean, I've said it before. I feel like last year we became more of a passing team, and that was fine. But you have to be able to get back to running the football. If you do not run the football well, Kyle Shanahan's offense doesn't work as well. So it's going to be important for both teams to run the football.
All right. And last question. Any last thoughts on both of the teams? Any things you're looking for, the expectations you have for this to kind of work out well?
I mean, for me, I think the biggest thing that's going to intrigue me about this game as a 49ers fan is you've got a couple of injuries. You got, guys like Nick Bosa that may not be there. On top of that, the 49ers have not played particularly well at the beginning of the season the last couple of years. They've got off to a couple of really slow starts the last 2 seasons. And so it's kind of this question mark of, can you get that turned around? Because you're playing a 1 o'clock game in the Eastern time zone, which you already know I absolutely hate when we have to do that. And so you're going out there, you're playing this early game against a really good Pittsburgh team. That's what I'm going to be mostly intrigued in terms of our team, right? Is I want to see, are we going to be able to do that? From the other side of it, as a football fan, or if I was a Steelers fan, what I want to see the most is, what does this new look secondary look like, right? Are secondary going to be able to gel? Because they're going to get tested. Even if Kittle's not out there, they're going to get tested when you're facing Debo and Ayuk and Jennings and McCaffrey, right? So you're going to get tested out there. But also this quarterback, right? This is the guy that you're hoping is going to be the franchise for you. So everybody knows quarterbacks generally take the biggest leap from year 1 to year 2. I'm sure Steelers fans are excited to see what that next step is going to look like for Kenny Pickett.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So, Steven, appreciate you hopping in this week.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you guys. And we'll definitely see you back next week. Make sure you hop in. Yeah, make sure you hop in on YouTube and let everybody know where they can find you.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So we are going to be moving on. So next, we're going to be going to our guy, Couch Coach.
What's going on, man?
What's going on, Couch Coach? So you're going to be riding solo this week. So Couch Coach, talk to me from both perspectives, of course. And I know you can do this.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
What are the X factors for both teams that they'll need in order to have success this week in this matchup?
I think definitely for the Arizona standpoint, I look at it, the X factor's got to be Budda Baker. I think he's one of the ones that can the most deceptive in his defense, where you never know where he's going to be on the field. I think he's going to be a key factor, and if he can make some plays, he could definitely make this very interesting. Also, on the secondary, I look at a guy like Marco Wilson. I think him keying up with Terry, I think could definitely be some matchup that you can look at from Arizona standpoint and be like, I'm somewhat confident in that, in those particular, with Marco and also with Budda Baker. But I think, if he can make some plays, Arizona could has a legitimate shot in this game potentially.
So you mean to tell me, Coach, that we're going to sit here on camera and say Arizona has a good shot to win this game?
Well, I mean, I'm not necessarily, but I'm saying if they were even to put themselves in a predicament to even win this game, it would be on the shoulder of a Budda Baker. I think that's the thing. That's my biggest fear. And plus, Gannon knows us. So that's another thing, too, where I look at that type of standpoint. Like, Gannon knows us. even though he's not familiar with our EB offensive system, but he knows our personnel. And that's look, week is a week. I don't put nothing to pass. It's any given Sunday, and it sound cliche, but every week is a battle, regardless of. I know they got 𝐤𝐞𝐬𝐭, but just saying they got a somewhat of an alright defense.
I'm gonna ask you a serious question here.
Yes, sir.
How many points do you think the Cardinals are going to be able to score in this game?
Probably not much. I'll probably say maybe about 14, if that, and it's probably going to be off of defense. Honestly, if like I said, if Budda Baker can do a pick six or at least put them in the position in the scoring range, that's going to be their biggest hope. I think that's their biggest hope. I honestly, like we talked about the X factor, it's Budda Baker, and Budda Baker's going to have to put up something. Like I said, in those predicaments, I can see a solid 14.
You're very kind, sir. You're a very kind individual.
Hey,
that's all I'm gonna say. You're a very kind individual.
I got to. Hey, I want to call this a blowout, but hey, we professional. It's the NFL. Any given Sunday, anything can happen.
So I say this.
Yes, sir.
I think that there is a possibility that your whole team could catch salmonella poisoning before the game, and you have to play your second and third stringers, and your practice squad players, and then it may be a close game. But no, all jokes aside, though, I really think you guys are going to win. But I think Arizona may look a little better defensively than most people think. But who's the quarterback? Dobbs?
I think 𝐤𝐞𝐬𝐭. I think he got to start nod.
Well, either one of those guys, I mean, they're not that impressive. I mean, they're okay. They're not horrible, but you're not throwing to a lot, right? I mean, you're okay on the ground, but when we know you're going to run the ball most of the time, I think you'd agree. Once you can make a team pretty one-dimensional, you have a good shot. And I feel like with the defense that the Commanders have, they're going to be able to. This is a bunny for y'all. Like I'll say it. You don't want to say it, cool. It's a bunny for y'all.
Yeah.
Enjoy your bunny. I ain't mad at you.
I agree with that as well. As far as if Arizona want to keep it close, it's going to be Budda Baker, because I think even like you said, defensively, I think Sam Howell will have a field day. I mean, because you look at last year, the defense really hasn't changed in the sense they had a little bit of personnel change, but nothing catastrophic. So this was a team last year that was giving up one of the highest throwing percentages allowed against their opponents. So Sam Howell have a good opportunity, especially on their defensive line. No one on that line had more than 5 sacks individually. So that lets me know, okay, Sam Howell have some time. And then on the other side of the ball, 𝐤𝐞𝐬𝐭, Josh Johnson, whoever, you have to contend with Cameron Payne. Deron Payne. God, why I do that like it's the NBA thing? So Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen in the interior, and then don't let you better hope Chase ain't playing. You got Montez on one end, and then you got, and even if Chase don't come, we got James Smith-Williams. 𝐤𝐞𝐬𝐭 gonna have a long day. He got to pack 2 lunches. It's gonna be a rough outing for him. For your first start in the NFL, that's gonna be your welcome to the NFL moment.
Now, I wanted what are your thoughts here on Hats, and Stats podcast? I got Derek Jones. He's saying the week 1 Survivor pool trap game. Everybody knows AZ gonna lose. Watch them pull it out.
I mean, I don't necessarily think so. Like I said, if it is a situation where if this is a legitimate game, it's gonna probably fall on a defense, because I don't think offensively they'd be able to hold with us. So I think that's going to be the biggest key for them, and that's the main reason why your boy JG is there, to improve his defense. So that's where I think their biggest strength going into this game. So you really can't discount their personnel, especially at Budda Baker, where he's a he's a dog, and if he come lurking, he can make Sam Howell have a bad day.
Hats, tats, and stats. Then says 100%. AZ doesn't have anyone on offense. Can't win if you can't score. Yeah. I'll just simply say this before we move on to our next matchup, Couch Coach. I think this along with the Colts and Jaguars game are the two games that should be easy money picks. The only problem is spreads. That's what could get you in these games. Now, spreads could kill you because it may be tighter games than people think, and that's probably what Derek was saying earlier. Because you're bidding, you're giving up a spread, so you may be giving up 17 points. You may win by 7. They cover the spread. It's still just like a loss for those of you who may not know much about gambling for sports. So that's that's where those games are traps, and I can 100% agree with that as well. But I think if we're just talking A versus B on the field, we know who's going to win the game.
Yeah.
The Couch Coach, we appreciate you hopping on, man. And as every week, we look forward to seeing you, man. Good luck. I don't think you'll need it, but good luck. And definitely make sure you hop over and let everybody know where they can find you.
All right. Appreciate you. Catch you next week.
Yes, sir. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move on. And we have a little treat for you here. I've got Mr. Alex Carrot, who's going to be holding down the Packers, as well as Mr. Gooley himself, who's going to be holding down the Bears. So, we got both guys here. What's going on, fellas?
How's it going?
How you guys are doing? What's up, Alex? What is up? Cool.
Chilling, man. We're ready to get into this matchup. So, we're going to throw a little meat and potatoes into this. So, all right. We're going to start here with Alex. Alex, y'all both OGs. Y'all was here last year. I know how this gets down. Alex, I'm going to ask you this. What can the Bears do to beat you guys?
I think it starts with the DJ Moore. I also think it starts there. I think if you get him involved right away, get us focused off the run game right away, that's going to open Justin Fields up to run on us all day. I mean, we were not good with containing the quarterback last year when they were throwing those little quick slants, quick screens, because we shifted our defense away from watching them. We'd throw our linebackers over to play zone, not watch the running back, and we bit the bullet a lot of times. Going back to your Eagles school, they did that to us again. When we stopped containing Jalen Hurts, he ran all over us. I mean, because they got the receivers involved. Got to get them involved. Got to get 𝐸𝐞𝐫 involved, DJ Moore, all that. One thing questions me is the running backs. Really haven't heard much about them on how strong they're going to be this year. But, I mean, Fields counts as a running back too. So you always got to encounter him. So I really think that's going to be where it's at. It's just, can the Bears defense handle the run game? They've been dead last in the run game on defense for the last 3 years, and I haven't seen any improvements really on that D line other than, some veteran players. But those veteran players, played 50 snaps last year as a whole. So it's really, where did they put the money? It was in the offense. So I'm excited to see what the Bears bring in offense. I think it's going to be a close game, and they're going to score at least 20 points.
All right. Gooley, same question for you, sir.
On how the Bears could win or how the Packers can win?
What the Packers can do to beat the Bears.
Well, number one, the evil man is gone. He went to New Jersey. Thank God. And two, because my pop is a Green Bay Packers fan. So to be honest, though, I'm more for Green Bay. The only way how they can win this year, win how they've been beating our butts for the last 8 seasons or 8 games, so to speak. Run the ball. AJ Dillon is still there. Aaron Jones is still there. Just run the ball. And I have to agree with Alex. For 3 straight seasons, I have never heard of a Bears defense. For my 29 years of living, of me being a Bears fan since 2003, I have never heard of a Bears team that couldn't stop the run. That's blasphemous to me. But you know what? That's what happened with us for the last 3 years. Green Bay just completely ran all over us. And the fact that, we couldn't get to the quarterback last year, that O-line, is way better than what. Well, I can't say it's way better because Chicago's O-line is a question mark. Because like I said, in preseason I was in, and now last year, and like Alex said, what we wanted to do was beef up the offense, and Bears kind of beefed up the defense, getting a veteran player in 𝐤𝐞𝐥𝐿 Ngakoue, which was one of the big key reasons I wanted to be with the Bears. But as for the Packers itself, I mean, they just got to run. And then as for Jalen Hurts, it's going to be like the same with Justin Fields, because this will be Jordan Love's first start at quarterback in the NFL. And all I can say not his first, but I can say just like for him for a whole season now.
Yeah.
All I can say is this. Number one, he looked good in preseason. He really did, but that's the preseason. Can you keep that up in the regular season? That's the thing for me when it comes to Green Bay. Just run the ball. Defense, you have to contain Justin Fields. That's easier said than done. And as for the running game for Chicago, well, that's easier said than done. Because Nate Peterman looked good in preseason once. But nah, I'm not thinking about Nate Peterman. We got that other kid.
Not regular season. Preseason.
Peter meme. I don't call him Peterman. Peter meme. Because he is a meme. His whole career's been a meme.
So Alex.
Yep.
Who is going to be the X factor for the Packers in order for you guys to get a win? And then after him, Cooley, same question.
On defense, I think it's going to be Quay Walker. I think, Quay Walker, we saw him come out of his shadows last year, in his rookie year, and be an absolute monster, almost set the franchise record for tackles as a rookie. Came out, was on fire. Yeah, he had a lot of anger problems, but this year, it looks like he got it under control. He looks a lot better. The 2 fights that we had in our preseason practices, Quay Walker was not in that pile. So that's very exciting. And honestly, going back, Jordan Love's first game as the number 1 guy. I think he's going to shock the world, honestly. I think he comes out, shocks the world. I think he's going to put up 250 yards. I think Watson's going to be our X factor on offense. I mean, he torched him last season on the reverses and deep balls. Chicago has not upgraded their secondary. I mean, they have 1 guy back there, a strong safety, but he can't cover all 3 of our speedy receivers back there, and then plus our screens there. I think our X factor on offense is Christian Watson, defense, Quay Walker, and special teams going to be our punter. Going to have to pin him inside the 5 because there's going to be drives we're going to go 3 and out. So it's going to be what can our punter do to pin him in? And I think those are going to be our 3 X factors there for the game. I think they solidify us.
Okay, I see your 3 X factors, and here's my X factors for the offense. I have 2 X factors for the offense. This new duo of Justin Fields and DJ Moore. If Fields can just, think, like he did last year, think on his feet, and hey, if DJ Moore is not open, or if Darnell Mooney, a buff Mooney isn't open, or Chase Claypool isn't open, we know he can run. And Green Bay does have issues of stopping the run as well. But he could be a factor. But also, if DJ Moore can beat Jameer Alexander out, like literally beat him one-on-one, that could be a big X factor for it too. Because DJ Moore won't give up on plays. And we've seen that in the past. Him in Carolina, I expect it here for him as a Bear. Defense, I'm going to say, I was going to say 𝐤𝐞𝐿, but no. I'm going to go linebacker here. And I'm going to get the man who actually had a breakout season. And thank you, Buffalo, for that. 𝐨𝐟𝐼R𝐢. I think he'll have a breakout game. I think he might get 2 sacks. Could literally disrupt the run on AJ and Aaron Jones. He did it a little bit last year. I expect him to have a very breakout season this year. And as for special team, I have to do it. 𝐤𝐞𝐿 Santos, our kicker. I have to. And if you don't know that reference, God, you need to watch American Dad, and then you'll understand the reference.
Yep.
I believe Cario Santos has been.
We got to ride off with that. We have to ride off with that. Okay. Great reference. Definitely agree with hats, tats, and stats. Great reference. I love it. I'm just going to simply say to you guys after that, because we cannot top that. So we're going to stop it. Okay. I just want to say to you guys both, good luck. We will have you back next week. And long season. Hopefully, you guys are competing in the North. And it'll be a fun thing.
I have Detroit winning that. You are in your high and cool.
Go Pack, go. We still own the Bears, baby. And that's all that matters. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.
McCaskey's own them, not Green Bay.
All right, guys. So we're bringing it in. We're moving on to our next matchup. We've got one of those two guys here, and that's okay. We've got Mr. Denver Nuggets champion hat on, also a Denver Broncos fan. Ian, what's going on, Ian?
Doing good. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
Oh, okay. No.
Still celebrating. Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, the party never stops up here in the Mile High. I'll tell you that much right now. So, but it's all good. No, football-wise, I've talked to a few people. This is probably the most cautious optimism that probably Broncos country has had since we've lost Peyton Manning back in the end of the 2015 season with Super Bowl 50. I think that a lot has changed since we brought in Sean Payton. I think he's completely taken over the culture, and he's going to continue to leave his footprint on the culture and essentially say, hey, it's my way or the highway. I mean, we had the interview come out earlier today basically telling Russ to stop bleeping kissing babies. You're not running for public office. So basically stop worrying about your brand and get worried about the football team. So it's refreshing to see for sure.
Interesting. All right. So on the other end, you're playing the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. What can the Raiders do to get a win in this matchup against you guys?
What can the Raiders do? Well, let's start with protecting your quarterback. If Jimmy G's got a clean pocket, we've seen what he's been able to do in San Francisco. As a starting quarterback, he's still, 34-16 overall in his career, so he's no slouch. And, a heavy dose of Josh Jacobs, because our run D, we like to say that it's fixed, but in all reality, we know that we have to put up or shut up as far as the Broncos defense goes, especially there in the front seven. And personally, I think a lot of us were hoping that Josh Jacobs was going to miss this week because we don't want to deal with that right away, but it definitely sounds like we are going to have to. And then really, I think on the outside, it is really going to come down to, can PS2 do anything to stop Devontae Adams? Because the last time the Raiders were here, Devontae absolutely torched everybody in the Broncos secondary and almost could have backflipped all the way into the end zone with how wide open he was in that overtime period. So I think that's going to be key as well. But I mean, if you get a heavy dose of Josh Jacobs, continue to, keep the ball out of Russ's hands, try to get out of Sean Payton's offensive hands here, I think they've got a very solid chance, and do what's got them to the dance before when they come to play Denver. Run it down our throats. We know that we have problems trying to stop the ball. Us fans, we could be delusional and say, yeah, everything's fixed on offense, but we all know that our run defense was the problem. And to be fair, our run defense really didn't get all much better during the offseason.
Fair enough. Now, for both of these teams, and of course you can start with the Broncos, for both of these teams, who is the X factor to ensure victory?
So I'll start on the Broncos side, and I'm going to look squarely at the offensive line. If you can keep Russ upright and allow him to maneuver a little bit more, at least just a little bit more than what we were able to see as far as Denver was able to last year, let's see if the signings of Mike McGlinchey and Ben Powers are absolutely worth it. And we'll be able to tell very early, can't protect Russell Wilson, because that's always been the biggest issue. With as many times as he got sacked, he was dang near running for his life halfway through the season. So personally, I think Denver's O-line is going to be the biggest factor if Denver even wants a shot. And I hate saying this, but please, Jesus, let us score more than 16 points in a game and actually show that our offense did get a little bit better. But again, I think it comes to the trenches, especially in this game. And then for the Raiders, I would say the running game of Josh Jacobs. How consistent can he be? Because he's consistently put up over 120 yards per game in Denver for multiple seasons now. So I think, it's going to come down to, can Denver's defense stop the run game, and can the Raiders defense pressure Russell Wilson enough to make a critical mistake or two?
That is fair. That makes a lot of sense. So, Ian, we're going to keep it brief tonight. Not a lot to talk about, right? We'll be interested to see how these two teams play, so we'll know more about the expectations for them once we see them out in the field. Any last thoughts that you have on the Broncos, or anything else you want to say in regards to the Raiders?
So, starting with the Broncos, I think it's still going to be a toss-up right now if Jerry Jeudy's going to be available. If he's not, it's going to be a very heavy dose of Courtland Sutton and potentially a little bit of a dose of Marvin Mims Jr. Obviously, with us losing Jalen and Tim Patrick, they're in the here in training camp once again to ACLs. It almost feels like a curse for us to have any wide receivers that are actually going to remain healthy. So I think Sutton, if we get Jeudy back, that'd be fantastic. Pair them up with Mims. I think that's going to really help on the offensive side. Defensively, I think all of our starters are going to be healthy. So what we see on the field, especially with PS2, obviously taking one side of the field, potentially on the other side, more than likely it's probably going to be Damari Mathis. Had a little bit of an issue last time that they played against the Raiders here in Denver, but add another year of experience, anything can change. On the Raiders side, it feels like they're all going to be healthy. It feels like the Raiders are going to be 100% go. So I think it's, once again, I know I'm beating a dead horse here. Josh Jacobs missing some time because of the contract holdout. I think, if they could get him solid up and running, if they can find a way to get Devonta Adams in there and, keep Jimmy G upright, I really feel like that's where the game's going to go. That's really all the interesting talk that there is left around this game. Other than the fact, I know it's not game related, but we're calling this hate week here in Denver, because CU, we're finally minted number 22 in the country after beating TCU last week, and we're bringing back Nebraska, who is our biggest rivals whatsoever. And we also have the Raiders coming to town in the same weekend, so it's just hate weekend here in Denver. So it's going to be a good time.
Well, that being said, sir, make sure you hop over on YouTube, let everybody know where to find you. Good luck on your game, man, and see you back next week.
Always, man. We'll see you.
Yep. All right, guys, we're getting to the end here. We've got the guy himself.
Cool.
Mr. Hats, Tats, and Stats. What's going on, man?
We're back.
We are back.
We're back.
Football is back, baby.
I'm Bills. I'm the last guy again. Let's do this. Matchup Madness. Let me talk to you. I haven't talked Bills in a while, and I'm gassed. I am so fired up for this. Bunch of jerks from New Jersey. Sorry. Oh, okay. What's up?
So
I've been sitting in the queue for a while. I've been all just hyped up.
Yes, you have, sir. You've been back there bouncing, so you've been ready for a while, sir. So we know we got you, and you're going to be going against Mr. A. Aaron and his new franchise.
Yeah.
So first, we'll start here. What are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers' fit with this team? Do you think he's going to be the difference maker? Do you think he's going to be what makes them a threat to you and the Dolphins in your division? Or is he just a guy that's going to take them to the edge, but not a closet?
I'm intrigued to see, because 2 years ago we're talking about an MVP, right? Last year, we're talking about a dude who didn't look like he cared to play anymore. I mean, I remember playing him with the Packers last year, and at one point, Von Miller laughed and was like, "Why are you guys still running the ball?" And he went, "I don't care." Like that was an actual thing heard on field. Now, do I think this young crew maybe has him feeling a little younger, a little bit more spry? Maybe, but was last year more a condition of him getting a little bit older? Body slows down a little bit. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's just, I don't know. I'm intrigued to see what it looks like because we really didn't see. I mean, everyone looks good in camp, right?
Right.
Yeah. I threw the comment in there. Nate Peterman looked like a world beater, and I was talking about when he was in Buffalo when he won a starting job in preseason. I mean, everyone looks good in camp. You're supposed to.
I remember. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, sir.
So I'm intrigued to see do we get Aaron Rodgers return to form, or do we get Aaron Rodgers looking more like Peyton near the end, where it was just a little bit slower, a little bit not as much zip, not as much pep in his step. I'm intrigued. He can absolutely be that X factor. He can absolutely be that dude that takes this. I mean, this is a good franchise. I would play for Robert Salah in a heartbeat. I have more respect for him and the Jets than I will ever have for the Dolphins for a number of reasons. And I watched this dude. He's up in the stands pregame, running the stairs. This dude looks like he could strap it up and go play tomorrow and be a dude on that team. And I love it. I love every second of it. They got a lot of young talent on that team. It's a solid 1-2 punch, and the dude who probably should have been Rookie of the Year and contested for MVP was it Bryce Hall coming back? I'm awful with names. I'm terrible with it. So the rookie running back that got hurt last year. I mean, that dude, he was a dog.
Bryce Hall, yeah.
Yeah, Bryce Hall. He was a dog. They got a pretty solid young receiver out there too. But then the rest of that receiving core is basically Green Bay East. I mean, they brought in Cobb, they brought in Lazard. Like, okay, those dudes don't scare me. I mean, as the 2 and 3, maybe they're a little bit scarier than to be in the 1 and 2. That offensive line. I mean, really, that's what this game is going to come down to. This game is going to come down to the trenches. Both teams have solid defensive lines and solid defenses. Both teams have solid receiving core. I give the edge in that world to the Bills by a substantial amount. But then, I mean, the running game, I think, is fairly even, if not tilted to the Jets. A former MVP versus a dude who's in the MVP conversation the last 3 years. I take the 26-year-old personally, probably because he's wearing my uniform. Beside the point. I'm trying not to be a homer here. But you look at all that. This is going to come down to the two lines and which offensive line holds up better against the other defensive line. Because that's what this is. That's been the Bills' biggest question all year, aside from the middle linebacker thing. But that offensive line has been suspect. I mean, it's tough. It's tough, man. This could probably be as even of a matchup for week 1 as I've ever seen. I don't have an answer of who takes this. Obviously, the banner on my forehead says the Bills. And I'm sorry, we're the defending champs until someone knocks us off. But I'm not taking this game lightly. I mean, I think last year you saw, you guys, you were here, you saw a little bit of cockiness out of me. You saw a little bit of yeah, we're good. Obviously, it didn't play out that way for us at the end. But like little cautious optimism here. I think we're still good, right? We're still going to be up there. We're still going to be fighting for the division. It's not like someone's walking away with it. I think the Jets are the biggest contest to that. I really do. And I think it starts with Salah. I think it has that, that rookie presence, or not rookie, sorry, the veteran presence that is Aaron Rodgers, because at bare minimum, he's seen it and done it all.
Yeah.
And he's got a good core of young dudes around him that can play. And it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a tough game, but I'm looking for a 2-receiver 100-yard game between Davis and Diggs, and just let Josh cook on primetime.
Okay. So you answer most of the questions, of course, and
I've been on the show a time or two.
Maybe, right? So another thing to ask you here before we move on to our last guy. what do you make of the Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen situation? Do you think it's just a little frustration from Diggs? Kind of Stephon's going to be Stephon. Is there some merit? Is the team going to react, or are we just going to kind of hug it out, bro down, and you guys going to move on and try to make some things happen this season?
I think so much of that was overblown. Like, and I mean, to the point that now you have people who have no idea what they're talking about, like making it up, like making up things. I mean, Stephen A. Smith came out like 2 weeks ago and was like, hey, I have it on good authority he doesn't want to play in Buffalo. And Stephon Diggs, who is Mr. Cryptic social media, right? Like this dude posts the weirdest stuff on Twitter, like 1 or 2 words, then followed by a video of him and his brother doing drills and stuff in the backyard. This dude came out flat. I was like, I'm going to put this to bed right now. This isn't true. I don't know who his sources are, but they're wrong. Like, my man wants to be in Buffalo. He just wants to win. And I will take a dude who hates losing over a dude who loves winning every day of the week. And at the top of my team, I think I have that in Josh. I think I have that in Diggs. I think you can see that a little bit in a lot of these dudes. They want to win. And winning the division is no longer enough. Getting to the conference game maybe isn't enough. So yeah, when we don't end up at the top of the mountain, I want my dudes pissed. I want my dudes not happy. The sideline tantrums, I get it, right? That last game, that nothing was going right against the Bengals. We did not deserve to be in that game, let alone win it. I get that, because as a competitor, you belong in every game. I think the entire Diggs situation, I think McDermott slipped up for the first time. I mean, he's as close to the vest with his cards as Bill Belichick is. It's all coach speak, to the point that Bill's Mafia hates it. Bill's Mafia wants answers, and they're getting coach speak. That's all we're going to get, man. That's the dude. He's not tipping secrets. He's not showing his hand. And he showed his hand out of frustration. Yeah, it's concerning that we had to send Diggs home today. He was there the next day. Everything looks across the board fine. People try to make a big deal. He threw a little bit of a tantrum coming off the field in that last pregame. He was mad because he got tripped on a ball he could have taken to the house. He caught it. He got shoelaced, and he was mad. And they were like, bro, that's 4 catches, 50 yards. Get off the field. We need you week 1. And he's like, I want the touchdown. I don't care. It's like, I want that guy. I want that guy. I want him in a Bills uniform, and I want him forever. I think the entire Diggs thing was blown out of proportion. And yes, people are making up stories because they're scared. They don't want the Bills to cook. They don't want the Bills to be what we should have been last year, what we started the season as last year. They don't want that to carry, because this team, when it carries, I put them against anybody.
I dig it, man. I dig it. All right. Hats, tats, and stats. Of course, good luck, man. We'll
Thanks,
see you
sir.
back next week. The one and only Derek Jones.
Thanks for having me. We'll see you guys next week.
No problem, man. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end with the one and the only.
Woo! Boy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here. What's going on, Cool?
What's going on, big time?
Man, ain't nothing shaking, man. With another year, a lot of hopes, a lot of dreams in the air, a lot of skepticism, a lot of, big
Questions.
mouths running. A lot of sicknesses in the air because folks already know that they preparing for the draft already, before kickoff start. It's another year of football, And once again, here I am representing the Dallas Cowboys. So
yeah, and just in case y'all don't know what we're talking about the Cardinals and the Colts.
Yeah. Ooh.
Excuse me.
I didn't say that. You said that. So
I said it. I did say it.
Be quiet. I don't want to ruffle my feathers on the first show already. So I'm just gonna be quiet on that. Okay.
Well, you know my team, so we feather rufflers. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So big time. Talk to me about this matchup you got with the Giants. I know you are someone who can give us good information from both sides. So from the Giants' perspective, what can they do to beat your Cowboys? And from your Cowboys perspective, what needs to happen for y'all to take home this victory?
I started off this way.
Okay.
The Giants don't belong with us. Now,
Ooh.
I'll say that. Now,
Mm.
that's a strong statement. You may be thinking I'm hyper. However, the Giants can change things rather quickly because the Giants did have last year the number 11, I believe, either 10 or 11 defense in the league. That's not shabby at all. That's pretty good. They've gotten stronger on defense. Here's how they can mess us up. That front four they have can wreck a game if they play like I think they can. Williams, Dexter Lawrence, the addition of Isaiah Simmons, who's going to play on the line, and then of course Thibodeau on the end. They can go ahead and wreck a game real quick. And then keep in mind they have been playing for the preseason. This will be the first snaps as an offensive line that the Cowboys have had. You just don't jump out there and it just automatically on. So the question to me is, can they wreck the game up enough early that the Cowboys cannot get in rhythm? I think they can. They're capable of it. But I also believe that my line after first, maybe a couple drives can get loose. That's really their only chance of stopping us on offense. Offensively for the Giants, we all know you got to stop Saquon. The Cowboys traditionally stop Saquon. He'll break one every now and then. It's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Danny, Dimes, as y'all like to call him, Lord have mercy. He can run the ball. He can run the ball. You want him passing the ball. However, the one that scares me the most that's on this team now is a healthy Darren Waller. Because I don't think there's an answer for him. And he scares me. He actually scares me more than Saquon Barkley does.
Interesting.
And when you start talking about a check down or a safety valve, I believe, and since they really don't have, incredible receivers, I love Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee, super fast, but I'm not worried about him because he got to see Diggs or Gilmore.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't our first fast wide receiver we've seen, so he's a rookie. I ain't worried about him. But when it comes to Waller, I don't see a answer for him. Safety, you can't go one-on-one with him. If you zone up, is Danny good enough to beat zones consistently? I don't know. That part, I'm really worried about Waller than that. Now, to answer your question, Cowboys, the Giants in trouble because I'm gonna have one of the best defenses in the league. We're gonna hit them in the mouth. And Danny Dimes gonna get confused. I'm expecting a couple picks that way. I'm expecting some big things. I don't think they have an answer for Michael Parsons, who I believe is gonna lose his mind. Coming up. I really do believe that. And contrary to what a whole lot of people have been saying, I'm expecting Dak Prescott to light him up. I think they say there's an interest standing. I know past don't mean anything, but the last 10 games that Dak has played against the Giants, he's 10-0. He does not have a problem with the Giants. He dominates the NFC East, bottom line, 27-6 over his career. He don't have a problem with them. The Giants do not belong if we play right, but if that defensive line, like I said, if they wreck this game up, it's gonna be a close game. I said on my show just last night, I'm expecting us to win at least by 10 plus points. On the road, I really want to say 14. I just don't think the Giants got enough to deal with us. That's just my thoughts. Now, you Jet fans next week, I have a whole different story. But the Giants do not belong with us.
Hey, there's not a lot that can be said to that. So I'm just going to talk about the comments we have over here.
Oh, yeah, bring them on. I know that these are the Cowboys. I ain't even looked. Let me see what's going on.
So we got Tyquan Smith is questionable. Will that be a big factor on the O-line to protect Dak?
Against this team, yes. Because of what I said about their front four. They have a pretty good front four, man. I mean, Dexter Lawrence is a beast. Thibodeau is a beast. Williams is a beast. And then when you add an Isaiah Simmons, who's going to be coming off the line, that's a problem. And like I said before, never underestimate. See, I'm gonna believe you just can't turn it on just like that immediately. This will be as a group. Really, it is there. It will be other than practice. Neither one of my starting offensive linemen played in the preseason. This will be their first real live snaps. And this front four, that's not the team you want to be experimenting against. I'm giving the Giants credit for the defensive things, but I believe that once we get in rhythm, I believe we'll take over the game. I just think that's what's going to happen. I think you're going to see the Cowboys run a lot of 2 tight end sets. They're going to get the offensive line in rhythm by running at them. And then I think Dak Prescott just going to light them up because the weakness of the Giants' defense is their secondary. We can't even name a cornerback on their team. I don't even know who they are. I'm serious. I don't even know who the safeties are. I mean, who are they? They're not that good in the secondary, and you're going against Lamb, Cooks, Michael Gallup. I mean, that's the obvious mismatch to me. So I would believe that we're gonna warm up by running, try to get the offensive line in the rhythm, and then by that time Dak will be just fine. I think so.
All right. So then we got Danny Dimes is thewish.com, Josh Allen.
Man, Danny Dimes is let me stop. I ain't gonna check that, man.
I'm just gonna say Danny Pennies right now. You got to get back to nickels. And then Tats and Stats also says Trey Lance season. Just kidding.
Yeah, appreciate your hats, but he won't play unless there's injuries. That's the only way he's gonna play this year. This year, he won't hit the field. The only thing about Trey Lance, everybody talking about Trey and Dak. The quarterback that you need to be worried about is Cooper Rush. The question is, when will Trey Lance take over the number 2 quarterback this year? That's the question. He's not taking over Dak at all, not this year. When would Trey take over Cooper Rush spot? That's the real drama from Trey this year.
Fair enough. So, big time. Appreciate you. Good luck to your team since you're not playing us.
Oh, it's coming. Oh,
hey, you my guy.
Coming.
You know,
it's coming. I can't wait. It's coming. Trust me.
Oh,
I'm quite sure.
I can't wait either.
Yeah, it's a lot of talk going on between the Eagles and Cowboys. So it's coming. We will just be patient. Let's see who all is healthy when we see each other.
I would love a healthy matchup. That's what I would find.
I would find
a healthy matchup.
Yeah,
because we haven't had Hurts versus
Cooper Rush or us against what was the kid name? I forgot.
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, Minshew. You know.
I just want to see a good matchup between the 2 starting quarterbacks with all their weapons, and let's see. Who's gonna win it? You know, I think it's gonna be a good matchup both times, but if everybody's healthy, and that's what I want to see, man. You know,
the opportunity. Which leads to another small question. My offensive line can't stay healthy. I mean, I'm dealing with a senior citizen, Tyron Smith. You know, I mean, my God. And I just heard Tyler Smith, the guard, got a slight twinge in his hamstring. Heard about that. Zach just coming back. Now, Zach Martin signed the contract. He's practicing, even though look who he's going against in practice. That's good, but he's not going at him 1,000%. You know what I'm saying? It's not live. So again, you just can't turn that on and off. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take a little work to get that done. Nobody's played in the preseason. That scares me a little bit. And this is not the front four you need to be coming out talking about, hey, let's go to work. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? This is not the the bad news Bears. I'm gonna give the Giants respect. They got a nasty front four. They can cause some problems. So that's what's scaring me right now.
Fair enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have completed our show for the evening. Make sure you hop onto the YouTube page. If you haven't already, let everybody know where they can find you. After the show, big time, still hop on, just let everybody know where they can find you. We'll see everybody back next week. Things were a little, we're getting everything together this week. We got some new pieces, so we had to work everything out. But next week, be ready. It's going to get crazy. And with that being said, anything for the evening. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. Appreciate all of the contributors for hopping on, giving their insights on their teams. And everybody who couldn't make it to drop videos, make sure tomorrow you guys are hopping on the site to check out these individual videos. A lot of people that couldn't make it tonight, we're dropping their videos that they sent me tomorrow to give you the insights from their perspectives on their teams. We mixing you with a little interactive as well as with a little piece of the recorded, but it's going to be fun. And with that, we out for the week.